Have you ever wondered if any animal could live forever? It sounds like something from a superhero movie, right? But what if I told you there's a creature in our oceans that can hit the rewind button on its own life? That's right, a special kind of jellyfish can actually turn back time, going from an adult back to a baby when things get tough. It's one of the most incredible survival tricks in the entire animal kingdom. And it's just the beginning of the wild and wonderful story of how jellyfish make more jellyfish. These wiggly, jiggly animals are full of surprises that will absolutely blow your mind. They've been around for millions of years, way before dinosaurs, and their unique way of life is a huge reason why. Jellyfish are not really fish at all. They belong to a group of animals called cnidarians, which also includes corals and sea anemones. They don't have brains, bones, or even hearts. Instead, they are simple, beautiful drifters that float on the ocean currents. But don't let their simplicity fool you. Their life story is more complex and fascinating than that of many other animals. To understand how they reproduce, we first need to look at how they can completely change their bodies. It's an amazing transformation, a real-life shapeshifter living right under the waves, showing us that you don't need a big brain to have some seriously cool abilities. The first shape we need to talk about is the one most people don't even know is a jellyfish. It's called a polyp. A polyp doesn't look like the jellyfish you see floating at the beach. Instead, it looks more like a tiny flower stalk or a miniature sea anemone. It attaches itself to a hard surface like a rock, a seashell, or even the bottom of a boat. There it stays, stuck in one spot, waving its little tentacles in the water to catch tiny bits of food that float by. This polyp stage is a crucial part of the jellyfish life cycle. The polyp is the patient waiting stage of a jellyfish's life. It can live for months or even years just hanging out on the seafloor. It's a tough little survivor, able to withstand changing conditions and wait for the perfect moment to move on to the next phase. Then, when the time is right, maybe the water temperature changes or there's plenty of food, the polyp begins to transform. This is where the magic really happens. The polyp starts to develop horizontal grooves, almost like a stack of tiny plates. This process is called strobilation, a fancy word for a truly amazing feat of biology. Each one of those little plates will eventually break away and become a brand new free-swimming baby jellyfish. The stationary polyp gives birth to a whole fleet of tiny drifters, releasing them into the ocean to start the next chapter of their lives. This new, free-swimming form is called the Medusa. This is the jellyfish we all know and recognize. With its bell-shaped body and trailing tentacles, the Medusa is built for a life of travel. Now let's talk about one of the wildest ways jellyfish reproduce, which happens during that polyp stage we just discussed. This method is called asexual reproduction, and it's basically a form of cloning. The polyp doesn't need a partner to make more of itself. It can simply make a copy, a perfect little twin. This happens through a process called budding. A small bump, or bud, will start to grow on the side of the polyp's body. This bud will slowly develop its own mouth and tiny tentacles until it's a complete miniature version of the parent polyp. It's like a plant growing a new shoot from its stem. Once the new bud is fully formed, it detaches from the parent and floats away to find its own spot to settle down. It then attaches to a rock or shell and starts its own life as a new polyp. This process can happen over and over again, allowing a single polyp to create a whole colony of clones, all genetically identical to itself. This is an incredible strategy for survival. If the conditions are good and there's plenty of food, a single polyp can quickly colonize a large area, creating a whole field of tiny jellyfish makers on the sea floor. But that's not the only cloning trick the polyp has up its sleeve. As we mentioned, the polyp can also undergo strobilation, that amazing process of stacking up plates. When the polyp transforms and releases that stack of tiny disc-shaped baby jellyfish, it's also a form of asexual reproduction. Each one of those little jellies, called an ephira, is a genetic clone of the polyp that made it. While the polyp is busy making clones, the adult Medusa jellyfish has a very different reproductive job. This is where sexual reproduction comes in. And, well, it's a process that looks a little more familiar. It actually involves both male and female jellyfish. Most jellyfish species have separate sexes, meaning some are boys and some are girls. The adult Medusae, those big, beautiful swimmers, are the ones responsible for this part of the life cycle. Their mission is to find each other in the vast ocean and mix their genes to create brand new, unique offspring. When they are ready to reproduce, the male and female jellyfish release their reproductive cells right into the water. The males release sperm, and the females release eggs. Sometimes this happens in a massive, synchronized event where thousands or even millions of jellyfish in one area release their cells all at the same time. This underwater spectacle increases the chances that the sperm and eggs will actually find each other. In some species, the female jellyfish will actually catch the sperm from the water with her tentacles and protect the fertilized eggs in special pouches on her body until they are ready to hatch. Once an egg is fertilized by a sperm, it begins to grow into a tiny, swimming larva. This larva is called a planula. It doesn't look like a polyp or a medusa at all. Instead, it looks kind of like a tiny, hairy tic-tac that is covered in little hairs called cilia, which it beats to swim through the water. The planula larva's one and only job is to find a safe place to land. It will swim and drift for a few days, searching for the perfect hard surface on the seafloor. It's a race against time, as this little larva must find a home before it runs out of energy. So, the jellyfish life cycle is a bit like a superhero that can transform. Imagine a character who can switch between being a tree and being a bird. That's kind of like what a jellyfish does. As a polyp, it's like a tree, rooted to one spot, quietly growing and making copies of itself. It's in its safe, stationary mode. Then, when the time is right, it transforms and sends out Medusae, which are like birds, flying free through the vastness of the ocean. This ability to switch between two totally different lifestyles is their ultimate secret weapon. This incredible two-part life cycle is why jellyfish are such amazing survivors. If conditions in the open ocean are bad for the adult Medusa, maybe there's not enough food or there are too many predators, the species can still survive as tough little polyps hidden away on the seafloor. The polyps can wait patiently, sometimes for years, for conditions to improve before releasing a new wave of Medusae. It's like having a backup plan built right into your life. Their dual methods of reproduction are another key to their success. The cloning power of the polyp allows them to rapidly multiply and take over an area when conditions are perfect, creating those massive blooms that can fill an entire harbor. Then, the sexual reproduction of the Medusa stage shuffles the genetic deck, creating new combinations that might help future generations survive new challenges like changing ocean temperatures or new diseases. They have both quality and quantity covered. It's a brilliant two-pronged approach that has made them one of the most enduring animal groups on Earth. They are not just simple drifters. They are highly evolved survivors. The next time you see a jellyfish, whether it's at the aquarium or a picture in a book, remember that you are looking at an animal with one of the most extraordinary life stories on the planet. They are not just weird, gelatinous blobs. They are ancient shapeshifters, expert cloners, and graceful dancers of the deep. They show us that life can be successful in the most unexpected and bizarre ways. The jellyfish reminds us that the ocean is full of mystery and wonder, and that even the simplest looking creatures can hold the most incredible secrets. They are a testament to the power of adaptation and the beautiful complexity of life itself.